Kian Uijtdebroeks is DNS for today. He hasn't started. Again, we'll have time to talk about that in a bit. But a really difficult Grand Tour for them so far, even with a stage win.
Yeah, it has been difficult. I think the difficulty is a rider being sick. They've had a lot of bad luck within the race. So I think for them, yes, it's been difficult because of the morale and everything that they've lost within the team. In terms of results, for the team that's here, I think they're doing quite good. You put all those riders together. Yes, they lost Gesink on the first day. Kian's out now, but where they're at, they've still won a stage. There's only been, we're on the 11th stage now, so they've won 1 out of 11 already. That's still impressive. There's so many teams that haven't won already. So, yes, it's not going great, but if we just look at this race and the riders that are here for it, you've got to say for them, it's been a success so far with what they've got. It's just what they want out of it. They've not got that dream yet of winning or having Kian up there and everything else along with it.
We always judge by the standards that a team brings into a race and into a season, though.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I don't think you can call it a success by Visma Lease standards. They've got half of the team home for a start. And yes, they've had a win.
Half the team home, then you can.
But no one on GC. They've won every single Grand Tour last season. This is not going to be, but it's a Grand Tour that has certainly been ticked off in terms of salvaging something from it. But this is never now, really, without a GC contender, this is never going to be a success by their standards.
I really disagree with that. I really do, because if you put those riders...
watching a tennis match.
I think yes, it is if you put those riders in the race and they've lost, but they're not at the same standard. They're not Jonas Vingegaard, they're not Wout van Aert. They're not expected to come into this race and win like those guys are winning. So the riders that are here, Olaf Koy, first Grand Tour, won a stage. How is that not impressive? Kian Uijtdebroeks.
No, absolutely, that's hugely impressive. But Kian Uijtdebroeks would have been considered as a potential for the podium going into this Grand Tour. He's not been in that mix since the race has started, and that is no slight on the young rider. He is exceptional. He is a fantastic mentality. He's a fantastic talent. However, he's not been in the conversation for a podium, really. He was in the white jersey, of course. But he has now gone home. This is on X from Visma Lease. The Giro will have to continue without the biggest smile of the peloton, and credit to him, always smiling. We regret to announce that Kian Uijtdebroeks is forced to abandon the race. He didn't feel well the past days, and after yesterday's stage, he felt ill. We wish you a speedy recovery. Like I say, this isn't a diss whatsoever on a team who's come into this race, won a stage, even now with half of their riders going home. I'm talking about what they will measure as being a success. Do you agree with Adam, Luke?
I'm got a sore bum from being on the fence. I think, if you said to this team before the Giro started, you'll finish with 4 riders, you'll win 1 stage, your GC guy will only go halfway. And again, it's a big learning process for him, isn't it? And he's only got halfway through that process. I don't think they'd see that as a success. Most teams in the peloton, if you say you'll win a stage of this Grand Tour, your Grand Tour is made as soon as you win a stage.
If this was a Cofidis, for example, they would say, we would take that. We'll take that.
But it's Jumbo-Visma.
Exactly.
And it just shows in sport. That's the one. Yeah. But it just shows in the sport in general how quickly the pendulum can swing. This team, we're talking about the team who won all 3 Grand Tours last year. They didn't win a monument, but they, held their heads high in the classics. And at the start of this year, we're going, wow, look at their lineup. They're going to do the same again. And now we're halfway through the first Grand Tour. They've had all this injury. And it's injury that's caused it, to be fair. Guys.
It's the perfect example of when things go wrong, they go really wrong at the moment, contrary to decathlon ages who are this year, where things have gone right and then they've gone very right, an incredible number of wins. Now, I mentioned in commentary before Olaf Koy took his stage win, they hadn't won from Matteo Jorgensen at Dwarsdorf-Vlaanderen in mid-March until Koy won just a few days ago. That was a big drought for them. They started the season really well. They've had so many injuries, of course, but so many start to wonder, is it bad luck? Like, to have that many of your top 10 riders in the UCI classification all either getting sick or hitting the deck and getting injured, it probably is. But the momentum of that team is going completely the wrong direction at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's bad luck, whatever way you look at it, isn't it? 9 of their 10 top-ranked riders in the UCI rankings have had something happen to them since the start of the season, injury or illness, and have needed time off to recover. Whatever that is down to with each individual case, that does affect the morale of a team, obviously. And it just goes to show, as you say, Dan, how quickly fortunes turn around in this sport. And let that be our reminder as we stand here and write off the result in Rome. Nothing is ever written in advance.